Welcome back to the Goal2Go podcast, man. Episode 21, NFL Divisional round this week. Just finished up wildcard weekend, man. It was a good one.
Super wildcard weekend.
Yeah, my bad. Bro, Tony Romo was winning that shit in the Dolphins game.
Bro, don't get me started on Romo, bro. Oh, my gosh.
I don't know. Nah, bro.
Josh Allen's Mr. January.
All right. We'll get into it, man. You got another week of pick the player. I think that's what we're going to call it. Pick the player. Might as well rock with it. Going to review last week's games and then obviously our predictions for NFL divisional round. Is it super divisional? Like, yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Shit wouldn't surprise me. But I'm going to start you off again, man. I got running backs. Two players he has to pick between just based off the numbers and then at the end just guess it for fun. So player one has 1,034 yards on the season, averaged 3.8 yards a carry, had 7 touchdowns on the ground, adds 53 receptions, 229 yards, and then 3 TDs receiving. So 10 TDs total, just about almost 1,300 all-purpose yards. Player two, 1,007 yards, averaging 5.2 yards a carry, 9 touchdowns, 55 receptions, 371 yards in the air, 3 TDs, so 12 total TDs and almost 1,400 all-purpose.
How many rushing touchdowns did player one have?
7. He had 10 total.
And 1,300 yards, right?
Yeah, 1,034. He averaged 3.8 yards a carry.
1,034.
Yeah.
And player two had 1,007.
7, but averaged 5.2 yards a carry.
And 14 touchdowns.
12.
12. How many number one had?
10.
Damn.
So player one, more usage. Player two, less.
Yeah, but more efficient.
Yep.
I'll rock with player two.
Yep. That's the right choice, especially this season.
Are they both running back ones?
No, player two splits.
How many rushing yards did 1,007?
1,007.
How many receptions?
55.
Is that Tony Pollard?
It is. Hey, first try, man.
Okay.
You did that. You did. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
one's in the NFC, one's in the AFC.
And then number one is, read the stats again.
1,034 yards, 3.8 yards a carry, 7 rushing TDs, 53 receptions, basically 230 yards in the air and 3 TDs.
Now this sounds like a running back one.
Running back one in the AFC.
In the AFC?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Were they injured at all this year?
Missed a couple games, yeah.
Damn. 1,000 rushing yards. How many attempts? Or did you not put attempts?
He had 272, but I didn't read him.
Okay.
3.8 yards a carry.
Good numbers. Solid numbers.
I'll give you started slow, finished stronger.
Bro, you just did ETN last week. It's not him again.
Nah.
That's an NFC anyways.
And I think the injury
that is NFC.
was like
It's not Austin Eckler.
first couple weeks type. I'll give you a hint. You want the division?
Give me a hint without the division.
All right.
Actually, no.
They love his storyline, bro. ESPN loves his storyline. Even one time they said,
"Wait, is it Ramondre Stevenson?"
Nah, they said he used to like sleep on the floor at college.
The fuck?
He said it's not true, but ESPN loves that story.
Division?
It's the North.
Dalvin?
AFC North.
Oh no, I'm tripping. Yeah, AFC North. bro.
I know you're drawing a blank right now, but this is I can't give
Oh
you more
wait,
hints.
oh AFC North. Okay, I'm tripping. Is it Joe Mixon?
Nah,
It's not JK.
no. You're forgetting one team.
The Browns, Steelers, Ravens, Bengals.
Who's the Steelers running back, bro?
Oh,
Najee Harris.
Najee. Yeah, I completely blanked on Najee.
Yeah, bro, they love his slept on the floor story.
I've
bro.
never even heard that. But
He said it's not real. So,
all right.
Next up, player 1 had 914 yards on the season, 4.5 yards a carry, 5 touchdowns. Virtually irrelevant in the passing game. I think he had 9 receptions. I'm not even gonna read the line. Player 2 had 891 yards, 3 TDs. Don't know the yards per carry, but he had 111 attempts. So it's like 4 something, I think. 31 receptions, 200 yards in the air, 2 TDs. So somewhat relevant in the passing game.
How many rushing TDs play one had?
5.
All right, so these are both running back 2s, or one of them they got injured.
I'll tell you.
I'm gonna take player 2 just cause for the passing upside.
And they basically, player 1 had 203 attempts. I don't know why I didn't have the average for the second player. But
Right,
you're taking player 2.
I'm gonna take player 2.
And none of these guys are like, with a true
like,
running back 1. Like,
no, they're both like mid-tier like guys.
one has been, I wouldn't even say a running back 1, but has performed like a running back 1. The other one's a revolving door. One in the AFC, one in the NFC.
All right, I'm trying to think. Neither one was injured. Or was the AFC one injured?
I think he might have been injured for like not until last week. He was splitting carries.
Dog. These are like the most just randomest numbers ever, bro. I'm trying to think of like just running backs that aren't relevant at all when it comes to catching the ball.
I'll give you. I can't.
When were they drafted? The one that doesn't catch the ball, like a time frame, like not the exact like.
Just don't look at my screen.
I'm not gonna look at your screen.
The second one, I know he's like 29 years old.
29.
He's like that. Yeah, he's an older running back.
Well, you said 1 split carries.
Yeah, he really wasn't the running back 1, but he sort of came on. He was drafted in 2017. I'll tell you that. Running back 1.
In the AFC?
Nah, that's the NFC.
Is the team in the playoffs?
No.
Did the team have a chance to make the playoffs?
Yeah, they did have a chance. Had a really bad season, though.
In the NFC, so is it the Panthers? Is it
Yeah, it's
Foreman?
Panthers. It is Foreman. Irrelevant in the passing game.
Yeah. Chuba Hubbard is getting all the passing work.
Yup.
So number 2 is in the AFC.
AFC. He's an older running back.
A revolving door.
Yeah, there's definitely split carries and.
Okay, did this team make the playoffs?
Yes.
This is the NFC team. No, this is the AFC team.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Give me the division.
East.
AFC East, older running back. Is it? It's not Jeff Wilson, is it?
No, it's not Wilson.
Older running back.
He didn't play this week.
Singletary, not at all. Oh. The fuck?
He's fast.
Oh, Raheem?
Yeah. It was Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostert. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Didn't play. He had
How many? 800 yards?
891 on 111 attempts.
Damn.
Bro, he was rushing shit, man. Can't even lie.
I did not think he had that many.
Bro, neither did I, and I watched every Dolphins game. It's like, bro, he was out there the past couple of weeks, man. He was looking like not even a speed back, bro. He was running over defenders. It's definitely, you could have used him. We'll get into that.
Definitely older. All right, so I got receivers for you. And, unlike you, I didn't just pick random stats. My two comparisons actually have something to them, so I'll give you that hint. Make it easier on you.
I don't know that.
All right. So, player one has 99 receptions, 925 yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns. Player two has 72 receptions, 1,042 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So, the player one basically had the most receptions, but under 1,000 yards, and player two had the least amount of receptions for over 1,000 yards, and they both just happen to have 4 touchdowns.
So, is the first one Chris Olave, or the second? One of them's Chris Olave.
Which one?
Well, I'm gonna go player two.
Yes.
Yeah.
72 receptions, 1,042 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's Chris Olave.
Yeah, I knew he had 4 touchdowns. That's why.
Yeah.
And now both players in the NFC. Player one, no.
Player one's in the AFC.
AFC.
Yes. Wide receiver 1.
Wide receiver 1 with 900 yards.
Yes.
DJ Moore.
No.
Damn. If I want 2 for 2.
DJ Moore's in the NFC, and I used him last week.
You did. Damn. AFC.
On a bad team.
Wide receiver
did not
1.
make the playoffs.
Was he playing all year long?
Yes.
It's not D-Hop. It's not.
D-Hop's in the NFC. He's in the AFC.
God damn. AFC.
Bad team. Didn't make the playoffs.
Bad team. Didn't make the playoffs. Are they on the... No. Jerry Jeudy.
No.
Cortland. Are they on the Broncos?
No.
Damn. AFC North.
Not the best quarterback situation either.
Not the best QB. Garrett Wilson.
No.
Damn.
Not a rookie. 30-year player, I believe.
Huh?
30-year player, I believe.
30-year player. Colts. Yes. Michael Pittman.
Yes.
Bro, when she said 30 years old, I'm like, who loves those old QBs?
Yeah.
But, I didn't even say which player. I probably would have took Olave.
Yeah, I mean, he's way more efficient. Michael Pittman just getting fed the checkdowns from Matt Ryan and Sam Ellinger and Nick Foles and Jeff Saturday.
What a team.
All right. All right. I'll do this one. I think you'll like this one. Player 1, 75 receptions, 1,356 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
I'm taking player 1.
While player 2 has 95 receptions, 1,196 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
So number 1 is Jalen Waddle.
Yes.
What was number 2's stat line?
95 receptions, 1,196 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
AFC or NFC?
NFC.
NFC.
There's a correlation between the two.
1,000 yards, Devontae Smith.
Yes.
I knew that shit was good. You said correlation. I'm like, bro, you love comparing those two. I'm taking player 1.
Not mad at it. And then I'll give you one more. This one's just
because that was.
Yeah.
I knew once you said 70 catches, like 1,000 yards, I knew it was Waddle.
All right, this one's kind of a trick one.
All
right, player 1 has 110 receptions, 1,338 yards, and 12 touchdowns, while player 2 has 78 receptions, 933 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Obviously, player 1's better.
Yes, by a landslide.
Please, you said 1,300 yards?
Yeah.
All right. How many TDs? 12?
12.
Damn, they got a lot of tutties. I'm trying to think.
Remember, it's a trick.
So are they on the same team?
They are.
How many yards player 2 had?
933.
So heavy passing offense. I'm gonna go Stephon Diggs.
No.
No.
Right conference. In the AFC.
So okay, just not in the division. Okay,
no.
Good. Yeah. All right. Jamar Chase.
Nope.
Good or bad team?
Very good team.
Very good team. Damn.
Some would say
the best.
The best team.
So it's the Chiefs, bro. But I'm trying to think who had 1,300 yards. Is it a tight end though? It's Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And then is the other one. Let's go like.
Who was their number one receiver?
Juju.
Yes.
That's sick, bro. I would have never guessed Kelce off that. Yeah, he just took wide receivers to a whole nother level.
Yeah, Kelce put up.
Throwing a flag on that play.
That was just a comparison to see, what the Chiefs wide receiver one was doing this year.
It's
compared
not
to Travis
bro.
Kelce.
I mean, for a team that you really haven't heard Juju's name all year, it's not a bad year.
It's not
at all.
Compared to Travis. 100 more yards.
Arguably one of the best tight ends to play the game these days of all time. He's up there. So that wraps up the pick my player, and I would have picked Travis Kelce, by the way. So let's jump into these reviews from Super Wildcard Weekend. I don't know, Jim. First game, Seahawks Niners, man. Seahawks had the lead at half.
They did.
Niners came back and they just showed that they're the most talented and the most deep team in the NFL. Brock Purdy showed out a bit. Gino did all he could, hit DK on that go route, man beat.
Ward, I believe it was.
Just too much speed for DK. One-on-one against DK is not fun for Jimmy Ward. Or is it? It's not Jimmy Ward. It's
Tre'Davious Ward, I believe.
Yeah. Jimmy Ward's a safety. I mean, about what I expected. Seahawks put up a good fight. Niners.
I thought it was going to be more of a blowout. I didn't expect the Seahawks to kind of hang around like they did and have the lead at halftime.
Yeah, I wouldn't say have the lead, but I expected them to be in it within. But, I mean, you just saw, what was it? Debo had a touchdown.
He did.
CMC is just doing CMC stuff.
Elijah Mitchell
did catch one.
got involved. That offense just has, like, it's too overpowered, bro. Like, there's just so many ways you can go with the ball. Like, remember one play, like, Debo was lined up in the backfield at running back and CMC was at receiver and they throw a slant to McCaffrey. Like, it's just, when you're doing stuff like that in the playoffs and you have that kind of personnel, it's just kind of unfair. And I do believe Purdy did have a good game. He played a really good game. But I think it's just a testament to, what's around him in that Kyle Shanahan system, to where it's like, I mean, if you're a quarterback going into the NFL, you could pick any destination. Like, I don't know what other team or situation you would pick other than there. Like, it's literally just set up for you to succeed with that defense and everything. So, and that defense really stepped up too in the second half. They made their adjustments, and the Seahawks and Gino they were driving down to go score. They were going blow for blow, and then unfortunately that pass rush just got to him, strip sack, and then after there the game just went downhill once Gino got strip sacked and Nick Bosa recovered a fumble. 49ers just poured on the points, and it was kind of over from there.
It pretty went 18 for 30, 330 yards, 3 TDs, 131 quarterback rating.
I mean, like I said, bro, like, you got Debo taking 70-yard out routes. Ayuk was just wide open on every crosser over the middle. No one's guarding Kittle, and McCaffrey's running the ball for 9 yards to carry. Like, no, it's the perfect quarterback situation.
No doubt. I went 3 for 3 this week too, and you went 4 and 2. Forgot to mention that this game we both Both picked wrong.
We were both right until fucking the second half.
Chargers, Jags. Listen to you and your social media QB. By the way, your boy Emmanuel Acho was like, I think he had a jersey. It was like social media QB or something.
And bro, that game was not Justin Herbert's fault. Although he did have one bad miss in the end zone. I believe he missed Keenan Allen. But other than that, he played a good game.
4 picks and you lose the game. T-Law had 4 picks in the first half. What, 3 to Asante? Or was it 2? 3 to Asante Samuel Jr.
They're looking like his pops, man.
Yeah, facts. Keep it a buck, man. I fell asleep, I think, in the second quarter. And I woke up in the third. And I was like, what is going on? Like, oh, they might come back. My dad was telling me, the Jags going to come back. Watch. And I was like, yeah, all right, bet. And then I think that's when I fell asleep. But so I can't speak on how that comeback started. But
it started right before halftime when the Jags
scored the touchdown. Yeah. I do remember that. So I think I fell asleep right when half started. They came down, scored that touchdown. But for the Chargers, man, to go up 27-0 and blow that lead, finally getting to the playoffs and finally kind of shutting them up. I heard they're reevaluating what they're going to do with the head coaching position. They already fired their, I think, QB coach.
The offensive coordinator.
I think they fired the OC and the QB coach.
Well, I saw they fired Joe Lombardi, but I don't know about the QB coach.
Yeah, I think they fired Lombardi and then the QB coach. So they're already making moves. Staley, obviously, defensive-minded coach. You wanted him out earlier in the season. So it's time to see what the Chargers do this offseason. Jags, T-Law, still undefeated in his career in the playoffs from high school on.
Undefeated on Saturdays. Hasn't lost on a Saturday in his life.
Oh, yeah, that too, man. It's insane. But, I mean, Jags got a home game. They deserved it. Played well, finished the season well. And they got a playoff win, first one since, what was it, 2016 or
2017? Yeah.
Blake Bortles, Leonard Fournette. That
Saxonville.
Team, so it was Saxonville. So good win for the Jags, man. Thought the Chargers were gonna pull it off. Eckler got in the end zone
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think this game ultimately came down to just coaching, bro. I mean, you saw Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning head coach, has that experience, has, playoff appearances and playoff wins, obviously, under his belt. And you saw going into halftime when after they scored and they interviewed Doug Peterson, going into the locker room, they're like, what are you going to tell your team? Like, what are the adjustments? I mean, if you take away what he said, if you, just looked at his, demeanor and listened to his voice, it was like, you could have told me, they were winning the game. I'd be like, yeah, by the way he's talking, I believe it. He just showed great composure, and, the adjustments were big. Early in that first half, the Chargers were just sitting on every single route. Asante Samuel, like you said, just jumping every single route, taking all that underneath stuff away. But, they come out in halftime, start running the ball a little more, get ETN involved, and then you see Trevor Lawrence taking those shots downfield, hitting Marvin Jones, Evan Ingram, who's came on really great.
Jones.
Or Zay Jones, yeah. Marvin Jones. Zay Jones, yeah.
Marvin Jones. I think he played for the Jags for a little minute too.
He did. But you made me lose my train of thought.
Evan Ingram.
Yeah, he's come on really great. He's been a great weapon for Trevor Lawrence. And then Staley, on the other hand, he just got kind of conservative and they just sat back. A couple fourth downs where that's what he's known for, is going for it. They punt the ball, give it away. Defense, and you're a defensive-minded head coach, you're supposed to come out with adjustments to the adjustments that the other team made. Nothing really changed, and you just kind of just gave up the lead. But, I mean, you got to give this one to Jacksonville. They played hard. They fought back. Trevor Lawrence really didn't lose confidence. I mean, after throwing 4 interceptions in the first half, to have the poise to stand in there and still make all the big throws you need. Defense stepped up, and that fourth down play call by Doug Peterson pretty much won them the game where, they did and I knew somebody was going to do it eventually, where you do the jumbo set and because now you can push the quarterback from behind. So everyone lined up like they were about to sneak in and push him from behind, and then Trevor Lawrence just hands it to ETN and he bounces it out to the outside, gets the first down and pretty much sets them up in field goal range. So to me, this game was just clearly just a coaching mismatch where Doug Peterson and his experience kind of came down and showed that he was comfortable in the situation. He knew what to do, knew the adjustments that needed to be made to help his team win and put them in the right position, and ultimately did. Chargers definitely got some questions to answer this offseason, though. It's going to be interesting.
The Jags went for 2, didn't they, at the end of the game?
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence had that crazy reach over the goal line, extend, jump. Yeah, that was wild. I mean, when you're 6'6" and have that reach, I guess it's okay.
I was like, bro,
not like
there's no
someone
way
else will talk about.
There's no way they're actually going for the 2-point conversion. I'm like, field goal, you tie the game, send it to OT. But we know Doug Peterson, he's not shy of taking a risk in big moments. But yeah, you mentioned that 4 picks.
Marvin Jones is on the Jags.
Still, is he? Do you play?
Yeah.
I know Zay Jones is the one that had the big day.
He did, but I'm pretty sure, bro, Marvin Jones caught one too.
Maybe. I think you had his stats pulled up against the Chargers.
I'm about to look at a box score.
But if I'm T-Law, I got 4 picks. That's a game of Madden, bro. The opponent's closing.
Yeah, 3 for 29 in the TD.
Okay. Damn, so they got the Jones brothers out there.
Christian Kirk was eating too.
Yeah, nah, Kirk did. Just like all season. Yeah, it was the last Saturday game, man. Sunday started Dolphins-Bills. As a Dolphins fan, I'm happy with the way they played, man. It gave me a great day, kind of, even though they lost. I picked the Fins, you picked the Bills. Picked them out of heart, bro, but there's some issues that need to be addressed. Skylar Thompson, obviously not the best quarterback in the world. So
that's being generous.
Yeah. I mean, so you kind of expected that. He missed some throws. Didn't help that Waddle had that big drop to start the game off, and then Tyreek missed one on a slant.
Yeah.
And then Waddle, it wasn't a drop, but contested catch, couldn't pull it through. Yeah, he usually makes stuff like that. And he was battling. I think
Smitty makes that catch.
Forearm, he was battling. Whatever. I see. I knew you were gonna bring that up today.
We'll see Saturday night.
And your boy, they were talking about X getting cooked up. Your boy Slay tweeted that X it wasn't his fault.
Play, bro.
It wasn't his fault, bro.
Whose fault is it?
Let me explain this situation.
It's man on man. I understand what you're saying, but like, fam, that's your man, bro.
Okay, I just want to make sure they know the situation. Dolphins running cover 0. X playing deep, and Stephon Diggs just runs a go route. You're playing man, bro. You're obviously not going to be running like in front of him because guess what? He cuts, it's over. He's got easily 20 yards. And on a cover 0, you want to take away the short game because you think the pressure is going to get there and the deep ball is not going to have enough time to develop. Deep ball developed, protection was beautiful, hit Stephon Diggs on a go route. Just when Slay said it wasn't his fault, and someone that put the pads on in the NFL said it wasn't his fault, I don't think it was his fault.
Fam, bro, let's be real. As a DB, you know in your head, like, okay, it's cover 0. So you have the internal clock. As someone that puts the pads on and has played defensive back, fam, when you play in that position and, like, that scheme, like, you're expecting pressure to get there. So I understand everything he's saying. But when it's a certain amount of time and, like, pressure doesn't get there, like, oh shit, like I have to cover. Like
you want him to just like,
bro,
have the speed to catch up.
If you're saying you should just sit there and just like, oh yeah, the pressure got to get there, then like, bro, why even like cover the man? Like that's still your job. Like if pressure doesn't get there, that's why you're on him for, bro. Like,
bro, but you're taking away the short ball, bro. You're not really trying to protect the deep ball.
Then you gotta adjust and get in position.
I'm just still got to be a thing. You're like you step for step, bro.
That's still got to be a thing.
Someone else playing 50 yards back on the field. When you got out there and fucking cover 2, bro, okay?
Okay, well, I was at safety that position, and I was going up against an all-American wide receiver who would be in the NFL right now if he didn't get injured, man.
All right, but that's besides the fact of this I want to talk about. Whether you agree, disagree, he got cooked. Doesn't matter.
Man, regardless, it's yards on his head, bro. He made up for it, though.
Yeah, he did. had a pick. Defense made plays somewhat throughout the game.
Special teams too.
Special teams,
Had a
yeah.
nice punt
Cedric
return.
Wilson
Yep.
had a great punt return. Really swung before half. They scored 17 unanswered. Really, Mike McDaniel. First, I'm just to talk about his play calling. I think he ran the ball on first down every single possession, and then he would just throw the ball the next 2 downs. Why not throw the ball on first and maybe run it on second? Like, he didn't switch it up the whole game. It was just first down handoff to Jeff Wilson for like a yard, maybe 2, if lucky. But, and then obviously we can get into Mike McDaniel. I don't know whether he's the slowest play caller on the planet because
Time management.
even when Tua was in, bro, they'd be getting out of the huddle late. Like, there'd be no time for a team that runs pre-snap motion almost every snap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can break the huddle with 10 seconds and expect every time to get the snap off. And with the rookie QB, you probably didn't even understand the play he was calling. So, on top of that, I mean, even in the middle of the game, I watched Teron Armstead call a timeout because he was more aware of the clock than anybody else. So that's something, first-year head coach, growing pains, something they'll clean up in the offseason. Those pre-snap penalties is really, I think, the reason we lost, in a sense. And then when it comes down to Josh Boyer on the defensive side of things, I think he needs to go. Yeah, I like the cover 0. I like it being implemented. There was a time, I think it was 3rd and 15, and you throw cover 0 out there. It's got to be the dumbest play call of all time. Shakir dropped a deep ball that was easily should have been caught for like 60 yards. And luckily he dropped it, forced the punt. But you run cover 0 on 3rd and 15, I don't think you should have a job ever again in your life. I just don't understand. And then Bradley Chubb, I didn't see him win on a pass rush all game. So that's something they're going to have to wake up. Manuel Ogba coming back next season healthy with Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. So hopefully those guys on the edge get it together. Hopefully get that DB room healthy and clean up those pre-snap penalties. But I'm happy with the way the team played, man. They showed heart. And, I mean, it was against the Bills with a third-string quarterback. The fact that it was that close of a game, no one even expected. It's a bad win for the Bills, but a win nonetheless in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think as a Dolphins fan, you kind of touched on it. I think this game went as good as it could have gone with you guys losing. Like, I think the only thing better than this loss would just be a win. Like the way they played, yeah. But I think you kind of touched a lot on the Dolphins, but I think this game comes down more to the Bills, and we kind of talked about it, going into the postseason, how Josh Allen is just a turnover machine. He kind of just gave the Dolphins just, opportunities to come back into the game. I think he had 5 total turnovers, but only 3 of them resulted in them losing the ball in terms of picks and fumbles. But I mean, just at this point, like, that's kind of what Josh Allen is. He has that Brett Favre into him where he's like, he's going for the home run shot every single play. He's taking that risk. And when you do that, you have to live with it. And fortunately enough for the Bills, they were playing against Skylar Thompson and the Miami Dolphins. If Tua was here, is it a different game? Possibly. But ultimately for the Bills to, if they want to advance and they want to, win the Super Bowl, Josh Allen has to clean up those turnovers. I just don't know if it will. And this was something I touched on very early in the year in terms of Brian Dable. We'll get to the Giants next, but we kind of see how Daniel Jones and Josh Allen kind of just flipped the script. And, Josh Allen, obviously he took that leap last year, and he's still an elite quarterback, but he's going to turn the ball over. And if you have an offense that's good enough that can capitalize on those mistakes, it's going to be tough for the Bills to win, especially in the playoffs where at this point, pretty much every single defense they're going to face from here on out, it's going to be a good defense. Every single offense they're going to face from here on out, it's going to be an offense that can put up points. So really the only thing in the Bills' way right now, I believe, is just themselves. They got to limit the turnovers. They got to figure out a way to, just control the game and win games. Like, when you're up 20 points against the Dolphins in the first half, you don't need to be taking 60-yard shots down the field. Run the ball, easy completions, keep the clock moving, kind of, take time off that clock. You don't want to keep giving these teams chances and chances because ultimately we see with the Chargers. That's how they lose. That's how you lose games. But the Bills have a better roster. They're more talented. They kind of woke up at the end, stepped their game up, and put the Dolphins away. But I think this is a real wake-up call for the Bills, and they definitely got some stuff to clean up. But kind of like you mentioned, man, I think the Dolphins went out as best as they could. Defense put up a fight. Receivers seem to have some early game, jitters or whatever. We talked about the drops. Even Jeff Wilson had a kind of a weird drop early on, but they made some big plays. He converted, what was that, a fourth or third down and 8 or whatever. Jeff Wilson caught that swing pass out the backfield. Oh my gosh, yeah. Broke a few tackles and got the first down. Yeah, it was like 4th and 6 or some shit like that.
Bro, it was exactly what Josh Dobbs and Kirk Cousins did, but it fucking worked.
Yeah. Jeff Wilson made a play. So, I mean, it was some bright spots for the Dolphins, but I think ultimately the Bills would just outmatched them personnel and talent-wise.
I don't even think they outmatched it. The Dolphins just did Dolphin things. And 4th and 1, game on the line, and you burned all your timeouts because you couldn't get to the line. Yeah, that time
management was pretty weird too.
And then you get a delay game on 4th and 1 with the game on the line, and then you force Skylar Thompson to just throw the ball in obvious passing down. But you said the Josh Allen turnovers. I totally agree with you. Just want to say, I don't think one of them was his fault. The ball, it was Cole Beasley, just got tipped up in the air. But
that one,
I mean, he is to blame for. He is a turnover prone quarterback. We know that, and I agree with that. But that's the Bills shouldn't have won that game. If they clean up those just small things, Mike McDaniel gets another year of play calling under his belt, and they get rid of those pre-snap penalties.
Get a new quarterback in there?
Dolphins. Nah, I think Tua's fine. If he can stay healthy, bro, Tua's fine.
It's a big if.
So you let him rock for this year, and you kind of see what happens from there. But I don't see why not.
Not messing with OG?
At that point, I think you're changing the whole offense. I like LJ. I think I've joked about it a couple times, like LJ return home. But you're just changing the whole offense. I mean, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I wouldn't even want Brady, man. I can't imagine him in Aqua. So that's just personal. I mean, if Tua wants to take a year off, but I don't think he will. He's going to have the whole offseason to recover. He said he should come back 100%. Yeah, if Tua gets another concussion, everyone's going to be looking like take twice. But I don't think I don't think they should get a new QB. I think they need to clean up some cap space, maybe get rid of Byron Jones and then play snap all season.
I think I wanted him in Philly.
Maybe get Jerome Baker got paid and he kind of down year. Christian Wilkins should get a bag this offseason.
No, he's been really good.
Maybe add a linebacker if you can, a veteran linebacker at not a crazy deal, but someone to add like a Landon Roberts kind of was this year, but he's getting up there with age, played solid. But I watched Duke Riley get carried for like 5 yards by, I think, 5.61 motors. So I don't think I was rocking with that.
And at least he bagged Yes Jules.
He did bag Yes Jules, and he did a good job on one of the QB spies, I think. Other than that, yeah, it was great Eagles game from the Fins.
Philly legend, man, Duke Riley.
He should stay in Philly.
I think we're all right.
The next game I was up, man, Giants Vikings.
This game went pretty much exactly how me and you thought.
Yeah,
exactly how we thought it would go.
Everyone was picking the Giants, and I heard some people like, "Oh, yeah, Vikings got." I mean,
some people like. I just didn't understand how you could rock with the Vikings in this. Like, unless you're a Vikings fan, obviously want to go for your team. But just like with everything going on, I just didn't see a way the Vikings could win this game.
Not at all. And Danny Dimes had a crazy game. It wasn't even Saquon rushing the ball for everything. He got in the end zone.
Danny Dimes carried.
But Saquon did have a good game. Yeah. Danny Dimes with the legs. I mean,
question. Which nickname do you like better, Danny Dimes or Vanilla Vic?
Vanilla Vic. I think that's more fitting. Dude, it was like 1st and 10, and they ran like a QB power to the right, like he was Lamar. I was like, what are they cooking up? But I mean, shit was working. You can't complain.
Was.
Yeah, I don't rock with the Danny Dimes nickname. So good Giants win. They got a tough game coming up. We'll talk about, but well-deserved win for a surprising season for the Giants, who have certainly outplayed expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I did not think the Giants. If you told me when the season started the Giants have a playoff win on the road, I would have just said you're lying. Like, there's no way, especially in that division. But ultimately, they got it done. The cards fell right for them, and the Vikings just, I mean, they had a good season. They had some good wins, but when it came down to it, when they played the teams when they needed to win the most, they just never got it done. We saw it with Philly, got embarrassed. We saw them get blown out at home by Dallas. We saw what Green Bay did to them when they needed a win to ruin the Packers' chances. So it just never seemed like it was going to come to, fruition for them. And then we saw a few weeks ago the Giants and Vikings game. If it's not for a 61-yard field goal, they lose that game. And ultimately, you mentioned it. I mean, this game, it was all Daniel Jones. He literally carried this Giants offense. Now, granted, the Vikings did have the worst pass defense coming into the game, and Daniel Jones did what he was supposed to do against the bottom defense, carved them up, and that Giants defense took away Justin Jefferson. Take away Justin Jefferson, who is Kirk Cousins going to throw the ball to? No one, because that's the only person he's looking for. Now, that last play on fourth and 8 or whatever, and he throws the 3-yard check down. That, like, come on, Kirk. Like, you got to get the ball past the sticks, keep your season alive. And I think they should have just forced the ball to Jefferson more. Cause we touched on it last week, or a few weeks ago. We saw that play he had against the Bills where he just goes up and catches it with one hand. We saw, those plays he made against the Colts when they were down 33 points. So, I mean, you just got to find a way to get him the ball, quick slants. I mean, if you want to do a jet sweep, somehow you got to get Jefferson the ball. But, I mean, ultimately, like we said, or I mentioned, Brian Daboll pretty much just resurrected Daniel Jones' career. You went into this season quite like asking yourself, is he even a starter? They didn't even pick up his 5th-year option. Everything was, just in question. And now at the end of the year, he has a road playoff win under his belt in the divisional round, a chance to make the NFC Championship game, So Brian Daboll did wonders with him, did wonders with Josh Allen, because you remember his first 2 seasons were not good at all.
Mid.
Turned the ball over, was not accurate at all. Daboll comes over, he leaves. He leaves Buffalo, Josh Allen, leads the leagues in turnovers again. Comes to New York, Daniel Jones, what was his biggest problem? Ball security.
Fumbles.
Interceptions, fumbled the ball, couldn't hold on to it. Now he's cleaned that up, and he's been one of the best quarterbacks in terms of turning the ball over. So, I mean, I was looking at our notes we have for coming into the beginning of the season for the Giants. I was like, bad roster. I was like, but Daboll could get him going in the right direction. I didn't think he would get him going in the right direction this early and this soon. Like
7-9, like 8-9.
I mean, I had him at the bottom of the division. They obviously proved me wrong. I mean, they were only one game above them, or one team above the bottom of the division. They came in third, but the way they've been able to win games, I think the Giants are really, really heading in the right direction. Get Daniel Jones some more help. Get him a few solid receivers on the outside. I mean, he's throwing to Darius Slayton, who's dropping balls when you need to catch him the most. Isaiah Hodges,
Isaiah Hodges is the best receiver right now.
Come on, man. Richie James, they're in the NFL. They're solid receivers, but get him a true number 1 receiver and really, really see, try to unlock Daniel Jones' potential. But listen, man, the Giants, a great story. I mean, you can't give Brian Daboll enough credit, Coach of the Year, man.
They should have kept KT.
Clearly not, bro. I don't.
So
I don't know.
I'm looking at Danny Vanilla Vic's numbers. 5 picks in the regular season. He only had 15 touchdowns, but nonetheless, it's a good ratio, 3-1.
And he probably had a few more rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
too,
for sure. This is all passing.
Yeah.
He's only thrown for 300 yards 3 times, including the postseason, which he threw for 301. The other time was for 334 against the Vikings, and the other time was against the worst defense in the league, in the Lions, 341 yards. but in the playoffs, 114 QB rating, 301 yards, 2 TDs at almost a 69% completion percentage. So Danny Dimes handled business for sure.
Definitely.
Next game up, another divisional matchup, Ravens-Bengals. And this game was closer than what people were expecting.
This game was weird, bro.
Very weird. Tyler Huntley did play.
I think it was like a last second, like just throw him out there.
Yeah, I think, bro, same, man. I mean, it was working, bro, clearly. And with the Bengals winning, they play the Bills, who had a very similar game to the Bengals. So it's really going to come down to which team can get things right in a week's turn. Obviously, not divisional matchups anymore. So a little more comfort for them. Divisional matchups in the playoffs always tough. Bengals get the win. Tyler Huntley, 2 yards at the 2-yard line, they try to QB sneak and go over the pylon. I think 2 yards is a little too far for that.
Yeah, a little.
Longest fumble 6.
A little bold.
In the playoffs. It came down to, I think, just like you said in the Chargers game, coaching. I think the Harbaugh bros just not getting it right now.
Yeah, similar to McDaniels, they had a little questionable time management there at the end of the game as well.
Questionable time management, drop Hail Mary pass. But I really, J.K. Dobbins came out and said,
I saw that.
You saw he's frustrated that he was not getting the rock and that they should not have been running QB sneak there.
I think he had 5 yards per carry that game or something like that. So
also,
he was running the ball well.
And also, I mean, obviously if you have Lamar, you're probably winning that game considering how close it was. No knock on Tyler Huntley. He did, I'm not sure what his stat line was, but he was serviceable in the fact that he gave the Ravens a chance to win, if not for that fumble 6.
Definitely.
I mean, you can't really put the blame on him. I don't know whether if it was his idea to go over the line or it's kind of like 4th and 2, you drawing up a QB sneak. I don't like that. That play never goes for 2 yards, especially goal line. You know these interior linemen.
Yeah,
they're getting low and they're stopping it. But
Sean Payton was talking about it, and he was like, he was talking about like, you know, the QB sneak, whatever, and he's like, I love that play. He's like going over the top like Trevor Lawrence. He was like, we used to do that all the time with Drew Brees, and like I remembered. I'm like, bro, that's true. Like Drew Brees, I remember like he would always like put the ball on and bring
1
it back.
yard or inches,
yeah, super quick. But he was like, we would always do it like within the 1 yard line, and he was like, when Trevor Lawrence did it, he thought it was going to be a little too far out because they were at the 1. But he was like, you know, being 6'6" in that frame really helps. And he was like, as soon as they called it in Baltimore, he's like, once Tyler Huntley did that, he's like, it's not going to work. And I believe John Harbaugh said it was supposed to be, you know, a sneak like underneath. He wasn't supposed to go over the top. So I think that was, you know, Huntley just trying to make a play. Obviously, it didn't work. And, you know, that was literally flip the game right there. And on the Bengals side, like I think we all kind of thought going into this game, it'd be a lot more, you know, comfortable victory. But I just think those injuries on that O-line is just really, really getting to Joe Burrow this year. I think they lost to Jonah Williams, their left tackle now, and their right tackle just went out. Another O-lineman was out, I believe one of the guards. So it's just tough, and I think they got to Joe Burrow 5 times the other night. So when you're playing like that, you know, the pressure's getting to you. It's going to be interesting to see what that Buffalo defense draws up. But I just, like you kind of mentioned, they both kind of had similar games against division opponents where it was a lot closer. It came down to the wire. And ultimately, the better team did seem to come out on top, but it literally could have went the other way. You know, that Dolphins game, like you said, you know, if you have a little bit more time, better time management, they get that first down. It's a totally different game, man. The Ravens and Bengals game literally came down to the last play. If he catches that touchdown, you know, you go for 2, you literally win the game. So I want to say the Bengals definitely did not play their best game. And that offense really has to, you know, figure out what they're doing. Zach Taylor, never really been a big fan of him. You know, since he's been there, I always think he's a little too conservative and doesn't let Joe Burrow, you know, open up that offense enough. But, I mean, it should be interesting next week. A lot of good games coming up. But ultimately, the Ravens put up a fight, man. That defense really stepped up. You know, ever since they brought in Roquan Smith, we were last week. They paid him, but, I mean, he's been playing really good. That defense has been playing really good. We were joking at the beginning of the year, like, Lamar was carrying that defense. I mean, that comeback, they let all those points up in the fourth quarter to Miami. Tua got that nice win. I think they also let up a bunch of points to the Giants, and they lost. So the defense was really susceptible early on, but, I mean, they tightened it up. They've been playing lights out, and they gave the Ravens a chance. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Lamar in that whole situation. I'm sure we'll talk about that a ton this offseason, but the Bengals, they got some stuff to figure out this week, like you mentioned.
And no knock on Roquan Smith, but you're paying a position that is more replaceable than a quarterback in a way that you've literally built this offense around Lamar Jackson and his play style and the play calling. So, I mean, you don't make play calling adjustments based on a middle linebacker.
No, but I think he's been a vital part. I mean, he's first-team All-Pro. He's a reason that defense, kind of got them to the playoffs without Lamar.
I agree.
That's the Ravens culture. You feel me?
Yeah, but I think he's still
to
not pay your
100%.
quarterback and yeah. Now, if you told me Tyler Huntley had a 92% passer or 92 passer rating last week before the game, I would have said the Ravens probably could have won. Threw for 226, 2 TDs and 1 pick.
Eli Apple looking like Eli Apple.
Yep. There's nothing new there, man. Just both those corners from that draft bust. VH3 was the other one.
Stop it.
They both got drafted that same year.
VH3. Ramsey. They both got
Ramsey was the only one. Yep. Nah, Ramsey didn't get taken after them. Ramsey got taken first. He was the first.
It wasn't Eli Apple?
Nah.
It was Ramsey? Okay.
I think it went Ramsey, Apple.
Then VH3.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because the Dolphins, I think, had a chance, or he got picked right before. I'm glad he didn't fall. The last game out was Cowboys-Bucks. Really nothing going on in this one. It was all Dallas after that Tom Brady end zone pick. Swung the momentum of the game. Cowboys come down, score a touchdown. Obviously, storyline of the game was probably Brett Maher missing all those PATs.
Fucking joke.
I don't know what that was about, but Cowboys came out. Dak made some good throws, and Tony Pollard did his thing in the backfield. I really thought they just played a clean game while the Bucs looked stagnant. Mike Evans dropped a touchdown. And sort of before you talk, I mean, I was thinking about bringing this up, probably not. Do you think the Bucs move on for some from their key personnel next season? Like, you think they move on from like a Mike Evans who's, about to be 30? Do they try to go not in a full rebuild mode, but considering that Tom Brady might be gone, do you think about rebuilding this offense or blowing up the whole team?
Well, me personally, I think Brady's 100% gone, whether it's he retires or he goes somewhere else, because he's a pending free agent. Now, with the other guys you mentioned, like Mike Evans, Godwin, Fournette,
I think Fournette's gone regardless.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure about their contract situations or if they would move them. I mean, if Mike Evans isn't a free agent, I don't really see why you would trade him. He's still, one of the best receivers in the league. And if you bring in a young quarterback or somebody like that, that'd be a great target, for him to have. So I think you would keep him. But I think right now they fired their offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, this morning also. So
he's got one more year left, Evans. He signed a 5-year deal in 2018.
Yeah, so, I mean, you just ride out that 1 year, then, see where you're at going on to next season. I mean, the thing that helps the Bucs is their division. I mean, they were so bad and got to the playoffs, and we kind of see where, whoever won that division really wasn't going to be built for the playoffs. Now, I thought the Bucs would win. They were hot. Cowboys played a bad game against the Commanders the week before, but obviously they bounced back and did what they needed to do. Dak played really, really good. Limit the turnovers. That's what his big issue was this season, was he just turned the ball over a lot. But limit those turnovers, got into a good rhythm, found CeeDee Lamb, found Dalton Schultz a few times in the end zone. He just looked really comfortable out there. The Bucs defense didn't really seem to make things difficult at all for the Cowboys on offense. They pretty much had their way, and that Cowboys defense, Micah Parsons, I think it was like the first offensive play. The second play was like a hold on Micah Parsons. And you just see him going around the edge, and he's in a headlock. And you're just like, it's going to be one of those games. And like you mentioned, Tampa Bay moved down. But after that interception, that Cowboys defense was just all over everything. Brady just didn't look good. Missed a lot of throws, a lot of questionable throws. It just looked like Brady was kind of, just ready to be over with this season, ready to start somewhere fresh. And he did not look good in the pocket, man. Once the pressure got to him, he just kind of folded. So it'll be interesting to see what Brady does. The Bucs are kind of in a weird place, but like I said, I think them being in the NFC South helps because no other team in that division is really good right now as well. So they got time to figure stuff out. I think they'll be all right down the road, but I think this was more of a, the Cowboys did what they needed to do because they would have lost this game out of this. I don't know, but Cowboys handled business. They did what they needed to do, and they got a big game coming up.
And you mentioned Brady looking flustered. Old Brady, watching all those Patriot games, when he sees pressure, that ball he threw in the end zone as a pick, that was kind of towards nobody. Mm-hmm. It was almost like he just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And Brady, anytime he ever faced pressure, he wouldn't even take a sack. If he did, he'd just fall straight to the ground and avoid contact. Mm-hmm. Or he'd just get rid of the ball, throw it out the end zone, throw it into the dirt near a receiver. His IQ was always there, and I feel like his decision-making is what was off. He kind of just wanted to throw that one away, but he just lofted it.
Yeah.
Right to the Cowboys. That wraps up our Super Wild Card Weekend review. Moving on, divisional matchup. Is there one Saturday game, or are they playing 3 Sunday, one
Two
Monday?
Saturday, 2 Sunday.
Yeah, okay. Back to the regular schedule.
In order,
Jags,
the way
Chiefs,
I put them.
First game up. I mean, T-Law, great season, great storyline. Travel to Arrowhead. Watched other teams do this, a.k.a. the Browns. No matter how hard you play, no matter how good you play, one, Pat Mahomes,
He'll find a way.
And two, the refs are going to find a way to move on the Chiefs. So, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good Mahomes plays.
Unless you're Joe Burrow.
They will find, yeah. Nah, but the Jags, I don't
Brady.
Yeah. It's literally the top 3 when it comes to officiating. And then it just comes down to the Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, Doug Peterson, and T-Law. They had a good run, but I just think Pat Mahomes, bye week, fully rested, him and Kelsey, get it cooking. I don't see anybody on the Jags trying to hold Kelsey, and even if they do, I think that just opens up for those guys on the outside and kind of their 1-2 punch between McKinnon and Pacheco.
Yeah, and this is interesting because in this playoff so far, wait, hold on. Let me just make sure before I say this. Yeah.
The home teams won almost every game.
No, every single game that's been played so far this year, each team has already played each other at least once. Including this Jags and Chiefs game, which was in Kansas City as well. And, KC handled business pretty good. But ultimately, kind of like you said, I just think it comes down to the head coach and quarterback. Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're like the veterans. They've been here. And, Doug Peterson coming from that Andy Reid coaching tree with a young guy like Trevor Lawrence, he's younger. And although Doug Peterson does have a Super Bowl, it's kind of like they're like the up-and-coming duo, whereas Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, they've been here. I mean, they've always had playoff games at home. This is what they do. They don't lose these games unless you're playing the Bengals last year. But ultimately, Patrick Mahomes, best player in football, I think he gets it done pretty convincingly against the Jags. And like you said, great story. Jags are playing with house money, man. They got nothing to lose, so I'm sure they'll give it all they got. They'll throw everything they have at the Chiefs. But ultimately, Pat Mahomes just finds a way. And I think, kind of like you said, those 2 running backs get involved at the backfield. Travis Kelce has a big game, and they handle business on Saturday. In Trevor Lawrence's undefeated on Saturday streak.
Next game up. It's two weekends in a row, man. We get a divisional matchup in the playoffs. Giants, Eagles. It's going to be some bad blood in this game, man. Definitely going to be a chippy game. Both teams, something to play for. Jalen Hurts, is that shoulder okay? That's in question.
Saying he good, man.
We'll see if that mobility and that confidence to go take a hit that we know Jalen Hurts to do. We'll see if that's there this week. But nonetheless, Danny Dimes, same story as the Jags. Great season. Unexpected. Really, really improved and have something to build for. I think it's going to be closer than the Jags-Chiefs game. But I think ultimately Philly runs away with it at home. Different team at home, as you know them to be. And we haven't seen the Eagles in a week. So, and we haven't seen them healthy in like 3. So you get that Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts. You don't know which way they're going to kill you. I think the offense is too much for the Giants to handle.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts, he'll be back last week. They had Josh Sweat. He was back practicing. I believe CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's going to be back playing as well this week. So that bye week was super, super crucial. We'll get some guys back. Hopefully Lane Johnson plays. I think Maddox will still be out. He had a boot on, but I think that bye week was super, super crucial. And I do agree with you. I think this game will be closer for the most part. Like, the Giants just always hang around. They just know, with Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, they can run the ball. They're playing a pretty good defense. So, and like you said, divisional game. But ultimately, I think this comes down to Jalen Hurts, making a few big plays down the field. In that first game against the Giants when we were healthy, that's kind of what it came down to. Devontae Smith having a big catch down the sideline. And ultimately, that Eagles D-line, I think they can be the X factor going throughout the playoffs where, what was it, like 4 or 5 players with 10-plus sacks, most sacks in the league. Hassan Reddick with 16 sacks, one below the league leader. So that D-line is going to have to get after Daniel Jones. So that's where, the Vikings didn't really get that much pressure on him. Got to make Daniel Jones uncomfortable. Make him, force quick decisions, bad decisions, capitalize on turnovers. I think it'll be a good game. It really will. But if Jalen Hurts is as healthy as everyone's saying, he's not on the injury report, wasn't listed as questionable. If we can get that offense going, I think the Eagles should come out on top. But I do believe it'll be a really good game.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention is the Eagles have a receiving core, something the Giants really don't.
Yeah. And
they just have that matchup outside. And you said if Hurts is healthy, get those big plays downfield and get those playmakers involved.
But what they did with the Vikings, they took away Justin Jefferson and forced other people to go beat them. If you take away A.J. Brown, we can hand it off to Miles. We got Dallas Goedert, who's a top 5 tight end when he's healthy. Devontae Smith, he's a wide receiver number 1 on pretty much a handful of teams this year. So any other team,
you put him on the Giants. One on the Giants.
Yeah, put him on the Giants. They're fucking.
He's Odell.
Victor Cruz, come on, man.
They do got a similar build.
Yeah, but ultimately, I think it will be a good game. The Giants are going to be competitive. Brian Dable has showed you throughout this season they're going to be competitive. They're going to fight hard. But ultimately, I think Nick Sirianni, that dog mentality, that O-line, I want to see them run the ball. You gotta get that run game going, kind of ease Jalen Hurts back in it. But knowing them, Jalen Hurts is probably going to throw a fucking shot on the first drive, something just to show he still got it. But ultimately, I think the Eagles do handle business in a good game on Saturday night.
First time the Eagles haven't made the playoffs with Jalen Hurts, right? Just making sure.
This was his first year starting. No, we made it last year. We got blown out by the Bucks.
Yeah, blown out.
When they added the extra seed.
Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts. Alabama got benched at halftime. Stayed in there now. Arguably one of the best quarterbacks this season. Had a case for MVP. I just kind of want to. I like Jalen Hurts, and kind of want to see him get one of those wins in the playoffs to kind of show that he could get it done. Because there's a lot of questions when he was at Alabama and got benched at halftime. Obviously, different player now, but
then he went to Oklahoma and became a Heisman candidate.
I know, but I want to see him get it done in the playoffs. He got blown out last year. Hasn't got that playoff signature win even in college. So it'd be nice to see him get it. Even though, is your Eagles. I can't even hate Jalen Hurts. So the first game up on Sunday, Bengals Bills. We touched on it briefly, man. Hopefully Tony Homo ain't calling this game, cause bro, that shit, his Josh Allen lover boy syndrome is crazy. It is crazy. Bengals Bills kind of went with Cincy here. You talked about that O-line. I do think it's gonna be a problem. Bills got a good front.
Yeah. Linebackers fly around.
Linebackers do fly around. I really haven't seen Trey White. Really doesn't look 100% out there.
What do you mean? He's the one that made that play against Waddle when he should have caught it.
He made one play, but he was holding all game. He was holding all game. Bro.
It don't matter. They got Kyrie Elam. He's snapping.
No, Kyrie Elam is, but I'm just saying matchup Jamar Chase against Trey White. Who do you like?
Jamar. There's not too many corners I like over Jamar.
I might like T. Higgins over him. I might like Tyler Boyd. These are three receivers that are just bigger and I don't know about faster right now.
But is Burrow going to have the time, though? That's the question.
Exactly. If that O-line holds up, that's why that Bills front is going to be key in this game. But I just think that even if they get that going, they really honed in on the run last game. You might see them take their foot off it. I think Joe Mixon gets it going this week. I really do believe the Bengals, with that O-line and that pass protection not all there, it's easier to run block versus pass block in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So I do expect them to try to get that ground game going, take the pressure off, make them bite on a play action or two, and then get those big plays downfield.
Yeah.
And ultimately, Josh Allen with the turnovers. I think the Cincy defense not great. They're not horrible. Middle of the pack defense. And I think they make a play or two against Josh Allen, turn the ball over, and they turn a turnover into points.
Yeah, I think this game is going to come down to who makes the most big plays, you know. Like you mentioned, for Cincy, they got Jamar Chase. They got T. Higgins, Joe Burrow back there. I mean, they're just an offense with the big play waiting to happen. And then on the flip side, you got Josh Allen, who is literally a big play away, running or throwing the ball whenever the ball's in his hands. Stephon Diggs, an elite wide receiver, one of the best in the league. And then, you know, big game Gabe, your boy, shows up whenever you need him. 100 yards last week. He came in the clutch. Yeah. So, I mean, all he does is catch big plays. So, the ball's going to him. You know it's, something big down the field. But I totally agree with you. I wanted to pick Cincy here just because the Bills and Josh Allen's look so shaky. Turnovers scare me. But like I mentioned earlier, I was going through my notes, and for the Bills, I put early Super Bowl favorite. So I'm gonna stick with my gut, man. I'm gonna ride with my pick that I made back in August. I'm gonna ride with the Bills. Ultimately, I do think it's Josh Allen's gonna turn the ball over. It's who he is at this point. He's gonna take those big risks, and sometimes they don't go his way. But I think that Bills defense is gonna be good enough. They're gonna step up. Give Joe Burrow some issues to where they aren't able to capitalize off of every single turnover. And I think, kind of like I said, or we mentioned earlier, those big plays, man. I think Stephon Diggs catches Eli Apple slipping once. Gabe Davis gets behind the secondary once. Big play. And that's ultimately what wins it. Josh Allen gets loose running. I don't think he ran that much against the Dolphins last week.
He ran in key situations.
Yeah, key situations, but he wasn't running all over the field. So maybe they get him going a little bit more. But ultimately, I'm gonna pick the Bills, man, solely because I had them as early Super Bowl favorites, and I think they can get it done. So I'm gonna rock with Buffalo.
Dolphins did a decent job trying to spy most of the game, but key moments they didn't, and Josh Allen did get loose, and it's aggravating to watch when you do everything right, and you watch your DNs rush and he just steps up and goes.
Mm-hmm.
But they did dial up. It was like 3rd and 6, it was 3rd and medium, and they dial up a QB power, and Josh Allen ran for a first down.
Yeah.
When you're running man, I mean, I don't expect the Bengals to be running cover 0 all game. When you're running man, they're looking at the receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not in a restricted zone. And you match up the blocks well, you get second level. It's a first down, which he did. So, but expect more zone from the Bengals to try to minimize that running game from Josh Allen.
Yeah, and the Bengals capitalized off a big turnover last week with the scoop and score for like 99 yards. So
The Bengals?
Yeah.
Yeah, 98 yard
98 yards.
Hubbard.
Yeah, so I mean, their defense is prone to get. We've seen them do it before, but I think it'll be different this
Does
week.
Gabe Davis go for another 204 TDs?
I think he's gonna have to. They want to win this game because I mean the Bengals are one of those teams where they got the firepower to match up with the Bills. They can go blow for blow.
Mhm.
So I think it's gonna come down to which defense can get one stop, and I think the Bills do. Joe Burrow
the Bills do have a better D.
Yeah, especially that front line. Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver, those linebackers, Matt Milano.
Matt Milano, oh my gosh,
Yeah, he's flying around. Your boy Edmonds, two really speed guys that are just. They fly all over the field. I think that they're going to be the difference.
Let me ask you, bro, I just don't understand this, like, not even as, like, a Dolphins fan. It was Edmonds. There was somebody. Bro, they went helmet to helmet straight with the Dolphins.
That was Edmonds, yeah.
And they're like, oh, the ball was blocking the helmet, so it's not illegal. I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah.
Like, you're leading with your helmet right at the receiver in the head, and you're like, oh, the ball's blocking it. Like, we're good. Like, I don't get. You're leading with the helmet. Is that not the flag? Like,
yeah. But it wasn't technically helmet to helmet. Like,
bro, come on. Like,
that's one of those weird ones, bro. I feel you. I understand. I get
like,
you.
What is that call supposed to be? And then there's when Sullivan Ahmed got lit up by Edmonds. They're like,
that was the same play.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. That was that one. Yeah.
Well, then that should have been a defenseless receiver, regardless. Like, then they missed two calls on the same play. Like, I don't understand. It's even worse.
Shout out Matt Milano, man.
I think it was Edmonds.
LBU, man.
But Matt Milano, he was hitting the gaps like crazy. He was fucking Jeff Wilson up.
Bro, if I'm not mistaken, he might be from somewhere down here in Florida. I know he went to Boston College. Shout out LBU, man. Luke Kuechly and Matt Milano.
LBU.
Oh, he's from New York.
Comic New York.
I'm tripping there, yeah.
Where's that even at, though, bro?
Probably somewhere like upstate or somewhere.
Bro, he probably lived in the suburb.
Maybe.
Nah, I gotta know where it's at. You want to go ahead and read off that last game? I think it's like Cowboys
49ers, yeah. I think this game is at like 4:30, 3:30 or whatever, but
yeah, it's bro, Long Island. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Cowboys 49ers, this should be an interesting game this week leading up to the game. How many you think, old-time clips are we going to see, those classic playoff battles between the 49ers and Cowboys? This is just, the revamped new edition. And the Cowboys offense looked really good. They were clicking on all cylinders last game. But, I mean, ultimately, I think this 49ers defense is just going to be a little too much to handle. Dak literally had all day in the pocket last game against the Bucs. Don't think Nick Bosa is going to let that happen in that front seven. They got Fred Warner. I mean, he's just a beast, arguably the best linebacker in the league, and that secondary is playing really good. And those weapons, man, how do you stop all of them? Brock Purdy's playing really good right now, but if you give the 49ers like an elite or good tier quarterback, I just don't really know how you would be able to beat them. Right now, I think the best chance would be just make Brock Purdy as uncomfortable as possible, just because he's only have 5 NFL starts, and I think the Cowboys will do a good job at trying to do that. But outside of that, they don't really have too many holes. I just think the 49ers are pretty much the most complete team in the league right now. If not, they're up there. But ultimately, 49ers at home, I think they get it done, man. I'm going to pick the 49ers here.
Same here. And you touched on everything. We touched on it earlier. Most complete. No question. They're the most complete team in the NFL. And quarterback is their only weak spot. And he hasn't even been playing that bad. Purdy's been playing solid all year.
He's been playing really good.
So you can't even say, it's just the weakest spot on the team. the least amount of experience. Guy that was drafted in the 7th round. Like, yeah, you got all this against you, but then you also had Jimmy G, who you thought was a quote unquote franchise QB when you sign up for $100+ million after his stint with the Patriots, and then you trade for him and he does well, and he didn't turn out to be that guy. What did he do in the Super Bowl? He lost it. Now Brock Purdy with the chance. This is a better team than when Jimmy G had him in the playoffs as the Niners.
They are, yeah.
Still an elite defense both years, but just more weapons on offense. You had CMC, Debo Samuel coming onto the scene. You still got Kittle. And for Brock Purdy, man, I don't see a way you can lose. Even if you throw a couple turnovers, like, you have the room to make a mistake in this game.
Yeah.
Because the Niners' defense most likely has your back. And I just can't see, like, even if Dak goes for 303 TDs, I don't see them winning on both sides of the ball all game long to the point.
That's a good point.
To where the Niners don't have a chance to win. I mean, if they control the ball, the Cowboys, they have to control the ball if they want a chance to win. They're going to have to get the ground game going and keep that defense on the field so long that they're just too tired to play anymore. That's really the only way I see it. So for that reason, I like the Niners this week. I like them moving on. Niners, Eagles. I got Chiefs, Cincy. You got the same thing, except you got Chiefs, Bills. So we'll see how we do this week.
And the Seahawks kind of showed to where the 49ers defense seemed a little susceptible, where, DK attacking them downfield. And you got a receiver in CeeDee Lamb who's capable of doing that. So can Dak Prescott get enough time in the pocket, and can he make those throws, those big-time throws down the field? Because ultimately, I think that's what it's going to come down to. I don't think you're going to be able to, dink and dunk and just hand the ball off your way down the field against the 49ers. I think the Cowboys are going to have to get really aggressive and hit a lot of big plays down the field. Now, that Cowboys O-line is better than the Seahawks, so will they be able to hold up? Will they be able to give Dak time against Nick Bosa and that super, super good pass rush? That's what it's going to come down to. But kind of like you mentioned, I don't think they're going to be able to win both sides of the ball this game. And ultimately, I think it becomes a little too much, and the 49ers get it done.
I agree. It wraps up our super divisional. I'm just playing divisional round of the NFL playoffs, man. I'm obviously one game behind you on these picks so far. Tried to pick the Fins last week. But regardless, man, some good games this week. Had some good games last week. NFL shaping up, man. Super Bowl in February, as always. Where are they playing it this year?
I believe it's in Arizona.
Oh, and back to that Cowboys 49ers. Before I even picked the team, I was thinking about it, but I didn't say it, man. What feature said? Tony Montana. Come on, man. Is he going
to be there performing again?
Give me the Niners, man. He performed at Levi's Stadium, bro.
That was Levi's
for
Stadium.
sure.
Yeah, Tony Montana was a while ago, yeah.
Oh,
I think that was before a playoff game as well.
I think they just... So do I, bro. I think they... that clip came across my feed, I think, the day of the playoff. It was like, 49ers play today. Let's remember this great Niners moment. But, man, you can't go wrong with a little Tony Montana, man. So, wraps up our picks, man. Let us know your thoughts. Pick a player side. If you guys want to see new segments, whatnot. Last week's episode was not on Apple Music, Spotify. Could not get the audio in one piece, so I just said F it. Be back this week, man. Goal2Go, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, all that. Goal2Go Pod on TikTok, man.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe, share.
Appreciate it,
man. Keep engaging. Appreciate y'all. Keep running it up. Next week we'll get AFC, NFC championship games lined up, and we definitely get into more hoops. Trade deadline, I think it's a month away now, so that should start shaking up. I think there was only one. I read earlier today there's only been one trade so far, and then we should also get player awards announced in 2 weeks for the NFL.
Is it? I think it might be the week before the Super Bowl. So
yeah. So next week they'll play,
and then the Pro Bowl as well.
Yeah, flag football, man. That's
what are the linemen gonna do?
Bro, that's what I was trying to figure out. Like, if they can be running the routes, because in flag football, the linemen run routes, like,
Yeah.
or just stand there instead of pick. Like, we'll see. It should be interesting, man. I don't know how. You think they get more viewers or less viewers?
I think it might be more just because everyone wants to see like
Something's
how
new.
it goes down. But I mean, I don't think it'll really make a difference.
I think the best thing they always have is the Pro Bowl competitions.
The skills and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Like, man, bring it back to Orlando NFL. We miss that.
So you can go to the.
Yeah, so I can go to the Pro Bowl practice and not get Jarvis Landry to sign my Jarvis Landry backpack. Yeah, that was sick. But is what it is, Juice, man. If you ever see this, I could still send the bag to your crib, man. Just let me know. But all seriousness, man, much love everybody tuning in. Catch y'all next week with another episode. Go2Go Pod. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.